Tonight, we're tearing into the wild final episode of Real Time with Bill Maher's 23rd season, the Thanksgiving special, and trust me, this one wasn't just pie and pleasantries. If you thought Maher would go out quietly, you're in for a treat stuffed with razor-sharp humor, political fire, and a few unexpected moments that prove why Real Time is still the place to get the West, a most honest take on American insanity. So what went down in this Thanksgiving-themed season finale? Right out of the gate, Bill set the mood in classic Maher fashion, full of gratitude, a touch sentimental, shouting out to the audience and reminding everyone that this is the last episode before their winter break, with the promise of returning in January. It's all a little warm and fuzzy until Bill pits to his signature monologue, roasting everyone in sight, including the White House's latest visitors, Trump's Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and in a not-so-subtle dig riffing about carving the Thanksgiving-turned turkey. The running joke, this year's White House felt more like Muslim Week, with a parade of surprise guests and inside gags about power, gold, and deals even Trump couldn't resist. The first twist, Maher brings up Trump's ongoing dance with Epstein's files. Last week, he wouldn't reveal them, and now he's apparently going to release them with redactions so heavy they might as well not exist. There's the usual swirl of scandal, shady romance between world leaders, and, of course, Trump's abrasive clapping back at anyone, reporters, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you name it, who dares to bring up Epstein's dirty laundry. Maher's take is delivered with biting sarcasm, poking at the hypocrisy, the spin, and Trump's tendency to turn on his allies at the drop of a tweet. Cue the show's first guest, Mel Robbins, riding high off her massively popular self-help book, The Let Them Theory. The energy shifts here, moving from biting politics to the personal. Robbins lays out a theory, a simple but profound idea: stop obsessing over other people's choices, opinions, and behaviors, and reclaim all that wasted energy for yourself. If you're spiraling over your boss, your family, your social circle, her solution is radically simple: let them be. Robbins walks Bill through the logic, the relatable anecdotes, and the Irish version for them, with punch and warmth. She explains the power of shifting from let them to let me, how, after accepting others' actions that you can't control, you focus on your own response and regain real agency. Hidden beneath the easy banner is something deeper about self-responsibility, boundaries, and the limits of trying to change the world one exhausting argument at a time. Bill pokes holes in the theory, pushing on edge cases like harassment. Robbins holds firm, clarifying that let them isn't passive, but confrontational in its own wake. It demands you stop living in denial, accept the reality, and then act for yourself, not just stew in resentment. This segment lands as the emotional heartbeat of the show, transforming an abstract theory into tangible holiday advice. Robbins insists you can endure the family you don't agree with without cutting them out. Maher bridges this back to his own show's perennial theme, pleading with viewers to rethink the trend of family banishments over politics. The rhythm picks up as Killer Mike and Donna Brazile join Bill, immediately shifting the vibe to the wild and uncensored. Their chemistry is electric. Brazile drops Thanksgiving cooking that could set off fire alarms. Killer Mike brings the directness and wit, and the conversation swings into 2026 speculation. He'll be the Democratic nominee. Killer Mike prophesies a return to white male politics, citing the country's deep-rooted preferences and identifying the working class vote as the real pivot point, all with a sharp dose of reality from his experience in Atlanta. Brazile pushes back with wisdom from decades in campaigns, cataloging possible candidates from governors to senators, including the ever-present generational shift call for young, restless politicians. Maher stirs the pot, floating wildcards like Stephen A. Smith and Charlemagne the God, and humor flies as the panel jabs at America's identity struggles and the Democratic Party's tendency to balance identity politics with political calculation. Killer Mike's candor about race, class, and the enduring power struggles hits hard and feels totally unfiltered. This mix of honesty, irreverence, and big ideas flows right into discussion about women's leadership. Can America really handle a female president? Killer Mike slices through the data, calling out the cultural bias in white working class voters and the self-sabotage he sees in progressive circles. Brazile, always the optimist, points out wins by female governors and insists the trend is shifting, throwing stats and a pep talk for the future. The episode twists again, with Maher setting up a debate about the Department of Education. Questions fly to should it be dismantled if schools aren't delivering? Is it a partisan problem or a symptom of broader social neglect? Killer Mike and Brazile drill down on the decline of public education, explaining how No Child Left Behind and endless testing have gutted real learning, calling for more trades, apprenticeships, and actual investment in teachers. Killer Mike speaks from the Atlanta experience, where Black excellence was fostered in local schools before bureaucracy and school choice pulled the rug out. It's not just blaming one party, it's a plea for radical rethinking. By this point, the tension and fun have built to the classic New Rules segment. Maher delivers a battery of jokes, clever observations about robots, pop culture, and social fads, setting up the emotional climax. But the real payoff is in Maher's final monologue. His plea for Americans not to let politics tear apart their families, especially at Thanksgiving. Bill warns against the go no contact fad that swept liberals, mocking the purity tests and self-righteous ultimatums that replace real conversation with radioactive silence. He slams the idea that we can just ghost family or avoid anyone we disagree with, arguing that this childish attitude only fuels more tribalism and ultimately hurts the causes it intends to help. Bill underlines that most political views are inherited, not chosen. He tells personal stories references Marjorie Taylor Greene, the seductive idea that everyone's a monster until you talk to them, and even brings up outsiders changing Trump's mind through personal connection rather than public shaming. His message is crystal D. If you want change, especially with someone as erratic as Trump, you have to engage. The not ostracize. The ending isn't, it's emotional, pressing the audience to get over themselves and embrace family. The audience response is huge as Bill wraps the season by thanking his team, his guests, and the viewers. The episode closes with the sense that while the country's still spinning through political chaos, Maher and company are stubbornly defending a tradition of civil debate, honesty, and humor. The real twist, despite endless culture wars and cancel culture, Bill holds out hope for conversation, for progress, and even for a little Thanksgiving grace. Before we wrap, let's sum this up. This finale gave us everything: sharp satire, real talk about the Democratic Party's future, heartfelt advice for surviving toxic relationships, and a much-needed call for Americans not to cut family loose over politics. It was a mix of punchlines and important truths, a reminder that outrage is exhausting and that sometimes the bravest thing is to sit down at the table with people you disagree with. If you made it this far, I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts on this wild real-time final in the comments. Who do you want to see as the next Democratic nominee? Are you cutting off family over politics or ready to let them be? Hit like if you enjoyed the recap, share this video with your fellow Maher fans, and don't forget to subscribe so you catch every recap when the show returns. See you in January. Until then, enjoy the real conversations and don't forget to bring your own stuffing to the table.